You are listening to Lovely Talks Heavy. Hello everybody and welcome to Lovely Talks Heavy. I am your host Lovely and I discuss everything I enjoy with regard to, wait for it, heavy music. Holy shit, is it already episode number 30? Well, goddamn son, you know what this calls for, right? Let's go into the cellar full of our dad's old records, brush the dust off some of them, try not to sneeze too much and die, and pull out ba-ba-da-da, No Rest for the Wicked by Ozzy Osbourne. Remember that poll on Twitter I posted for the next track-by-track review that I should do? Well, it was a setup for this episode 30, which has some significance with relation to this episode. Each of those albums on that poll will have been out for 30 years as of 2018. To be real here, there was a tie between this and Blood, Fire, Death by Bathory, so it came down to a coin toss. And here we are! And before I go any further in, I just want to point out that I cannot pretend that this idea was my own entirely. I'm going to spread some credit to listeners Devin and Alex. Hear that? That's me spreading the credit right there. Okay, that's enough. Alex for bringing up how cool it would be for me to do a 30th anniversary track-by-track review for episode 30, and Devin for mentioning that Alex thought of that to me specifically, so there you go. You got some writing credits. Put that on your resume. I can't pay you for it, though. I don't even get paid for this, so if there's any sponsors out here that would like to pay me so I could pay like a few dollars over to Devin and Alex, that would be great. Thank you, bye. Anyways, moving on. So we're gonna have a bit of fun here today, exploring some of Mr. Jonathan Osborne's solo work. This was the first album of Ozzy's two-feature acclaimed guitarist Zakk Wylde, who at the time was about 20, 21, bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, eager to work, eager to make some music, eager to improve where he could, and most of all, eager to work with the Ozman himself. Zakk Wylde's emergence is why No Rest for the Wicked is such a notable record. We also see a brief return from bassist and lyricist Bob Daisley before his departure again, and to be replaced by Geezer Butler, resulting in a reunion of half the members of Black Sabbath. We also see Geezer in the music videos and following tour for No Rest for the Wicked. I don't think there's anything else to say then. Let's dive right into this track-by-track review. Ozzy points and laughs maniacally at famed televangelist Jimmy Swaggart in the first track, Miracle Man. Why? Because the Miracle Man got busted! This song is having a laugh at the holy TV man for acting so hypocritical and condemning other religious figures for being covetous, and criticizing Ozzy himself, and then getting caught indulging himself with a sex worker. The music video was shot in an English church with hay littering the floor and Ozzy and company performing amongst a bunch of pigs. We see some shots of Ozzy walking in this crowd of pigs with his pants down, which emphasizes the lyrics, "Now Jimmy, he got busted, with his pants down. Repent ye wretched sinner, self-righteous clown." Overall, it makes a point that Mr. James Swaggart looks quite silly in his situation. The pigs are possibly a symbol for religious followers that greedy TV ministers like to think of themselves as shepherds for helpless souls. There's also a mask that is passed between members of Ozzy's band throughout the music video, and the video opens up with Ozzy wearing the mask, mocking Swaggart with a whiny tone of voice, begging for forgiveness for his sins. The phrase, "credit cards accepted," flash over the video for a few seconds before Ozzy takes the mask off and the song kicks in. We also see Ozzy holding a scepter topped with a $sign in the video. This could symbolize the idea that many ministers, both on TV and off, use scepters to guide religious followers through the traffic of life. But it's these religious figures who are led not by the promise of heaven or the holy word of God, but instead by money and greed. The latest reissue of No Rest for the Wicked features a live version of this song also, which begins with Ozzy mentioning that this song is about his good friend Jimmy Swaggart. Humor. It's kind of weird thinking about and talking about the song, considering some more recent events of one Mr. Ozzy Osbourne. You know, I mean, Forgiveness was distributed and all that stuff, but it's whatever, I guess. Hey, that's a good sounding song, so 4 out of 5 for Miracle Man. I'd say Devil's Daughter is my number 1 pick of all the songs on this album. I think the way Ozzy sings, I'll make you break down, break down, break down and cry, stands out more than anything on this album to me and hooks me into the chorus very easily. Devil's Daughter feels like a cooling pack for people who are already offended at the idea that Ozzy is making fun of holy boy Jimmy Swaggart while he's down. It feels like it's saying, listen, I'm all for battling evil. I just don't want to hear about it from someone who's a fucking hypocrite. You can put that down as the worst Ozzy impression ever in the books. Got that? Got that? Cool. The biggest thing that I take away from this is that the lyrics seem to be about a holy man who wants to cast demons out of a not-so-holy girl, and is willing to take a hands-on approach to that. I gather this from the second verse, which says, you know what I'm about, I'll cast the demons out, and I'll persist until the battle's won. I'll feel your creeping flesh, see that line, feel your creeping flesh, that especially, if you're to be possessed, and then I'll desecrate what you've become. It also kind of shows the persistence and annoyance that some holier-than-thou people, not just annoying religious figures, exude in telling others how they should give up their sinful, weird, not normal lifestyles. If I never have to hear another minister, preacher, pastor, dude, man tell me about how he used to listen to deep dark metal and oh, how Slayer was the light wussy stuff, I could die perfectly happy. There's a similar theme with regard to the hands-on approach of holy men present in a song called God Has a Plan for Us All by Anctoria, which condemns this sort of perversion that you see in religious figures. So, 5 out of 5 for Devil's Daughter. There's a lot of arguing in the comments of the entry for Crazy Babies in songmeanings.com, because it seems a bit unclear what the song is actually about. I'd have to say, though, it discusses rebellion of children and teens when they start realizing things about the world, things that aren't good, and how grown-ass adults will make fun of them and try to drag them down because they want to change something. But the adults say that they're just living in their own world, their own reality, or just write off the generation as a doomed bunch of dumbasses because of observed phenomena like the indulgence of pranks or what is deemed low culture. Ozzy seems to be on the side of the children, considering the amount of youth that relate to and is a fan of Ozzy's work. This is reflected in the verse, no use in talking about if they'll last, where they're going, or about their past. They're just the result of our society, so frustrated like you and me. The pre-choruses of the song chant that nobody's gonna change or tame these crazy babies, further cementing Ozzy's support of them in this song. Another lyric in the song says that crazy babies are born to be wild, which I find to be a fun little callback to a little song called Born to be Wild by Steppenwolf. You might have heard of it, where in that song we hear the first recorded use of heavy metal. The music video offers nothing too much of substance for me, honestly. Perhaps I've been spoiled by music videos of the modern day that have had $1 million budgets and stuff. I don't know. It does use some interesting stop motion, stilted animation effects in the band performance bits where we see that kind of method used in future videos, not unlike Enter Sandman by Metallica. The music video also has children and teens, the very subject matter of this song, headbanging and singing some of the lyrics appropriately enough. So, 3 out of 5 for Crazy Babies. Hi, I'm Lovely, and welcome to Jackass. That's one of the thoughts I got when listening to Breaking All the Rules, and I'm not entirely sure why. Perhaps it's due to the fact that the song is speaking of one's own individuality, how others are too afraid to move from what's considered normal. I'm not really sure. I just know I wrote, "Hi, I'm blank, and this is Jackass" in my notes here. Somebody please help! We do get some groove in the song, like with the previous song, Crazy Babies, and it's toward the end of the song, mainly. The verse that really spoke to me is, well, I know that you would love to go to heaven, but you know that you're just too afraid to die. And I know that you would love to know the answers, but to you, the truth is another lie. It's possibly an extension of the poking of fun at Jimmy Swagger in Miracle Man, but overall reminds me of a time in life when I was quite young and I was the sort of person that this verse was speaking to. How I'm still surrounded by people in my family today who are the types of people that this verse is speaking to. The song's music video is nothing too special to write home about. I don't really care about, live performance music videos unless they offer something really gripping, really special. I mean, otherwise it's whatever. It's got a lot of slow motion happening in it, though, with some behind the scenes shots, literally 3 in the whole music video, which is, it's fine. Not everything has to be a huge budgeted, this is a life-changing art piece music video. I get that. It's just my sort of whole thing. But 3 out of 5 nonetheless for this whole scenario. Of breaking all the rules, I should say. Four things about Bloodbath Paradise. It has a scary sounding opening with Ozzy saying the phrase, "Your mother sells Welk by the hall," in reverse, which is a reference to the film The Exorcist and how much Ozzy seems to love that film. 2. The opening guitar riffs are meant to evoke fear and terror, not unlike the opening riff to Black Sabbath by Black Sabbath off the album Black Sabbath. 3. These scary riffs lead into the chugging instrumentation that is typical of this whole album. 4. Manson family. 2 out of 5 for Bloodbath Paradise. Perhaps one of 2 songs on this whole album that sticks out from the rest in terms of approach is Fire in the Sky, and it stands out for how heartfelt and vulnerable it is, as ballads typically are. Typically, I'm not a big fan of ballads, but I give credit for the song for switching up something on this album, deviating from the typical chugging instrumentation that we see through most of this record. The song is about masking of emotional pain and forced solitude, pushing up of walls, or as the song describes, building large castles around the pain, what the person assumes to be an impenetrable fortress. But then the walls crumble, castles are burning, and the person is begging for someone to see that. It's an okay song. 3 out of 5. You know what's weird? No, it's just absolutely bonkers. Is that according to normies or whatever, fuck and its derivations is supposed to be the most obscene swear word, but see, fuck coming out of Ozzy's mouth has significantly less impact to me, because fuck is a normal word to me now. Both Ozzy and I have used it so much that it's just lost its power. But bitch? It's such a foreign concept still for me to hear Ozzy say, "Dance for me, bitch," in Tattooed Dancer. I'm shaken hearing him say that. It's it's weird. That's the biggest thing I take away out of this whole song. It's not. I mean, it's an ode to a hot, sexy lady, not unlike many songs like Dirty Little Girl by Burn Halo, Porn Star Dancing by My Darkest Days, Girls, Girls, Girls by Motley Crue, Baby, Baby, Baby by End Ever After, and I'm including Beast and the Harlot by Avenged Sevenfold in this group here. I mean, don't get me wrong, I like all these songs, but after a while it just gets boring hearing dudes talk about what they think of the beauty of hot, sexy ladies. We get it. Where are the lesbian anthems of lust? I mean, come on, goddammit. 1 out of 5 for Tattoo Dancer. There's nothing really of substance for me in Demon Alcohol other than of the one it speaks of. It's a song about temptation and vices. Okay, the one thing I will give it is that there's a line in the song which says, "Don't speak of suicide solutions," which feels like it's speaking again to Jimmy Swaggart, particularly because Mr. TV Holy Boy railed against Ozzy because a teenager committed suicide while listening to Suicide Solution by Ozzy. I feel like it's saying, "Jimmy, listen, Jimmy, James, Jimsy boy, we all have our vices. I certainly do. You certainly do. But I don't condone suicide." I'm keeping it up here with a bad Ozzy impression. I'm sorry. Sorry, Johnny. 1 out of 5 for Demon Alcohol. Hero is kind of an ironic title for what the song is about, probably. It's a slow to mid-tempo sort of situation, which sings about a man, possibly Ozzy himself, not aspiring to be anybody's hero. The lyrics are reaching out to both critics and admirers, telling critics, "Don't think you'll ever understand me, I don't even understand me," and telling admirers, "I am not your destination. This is just a dude who wants to do what he do." It's a 2 out of 5 for Hero. I mean, you can't see it, but I'm shrugging through the rest of this album. Finally, we've reached the end with The Liar, which was on the 2002 reissue of No Rest for the Wicked. It feels like a contrast to the previous track Hero, where in the song it's about a person who knows he's done bad, he's done wrong, terrible, awful things, and wants to do better, as if he's sitting in a confessional, asking for guidance and forgiveness. I mean, it doesn't really do anything for me like these last few tracks have. I mean, sorry. 1 out of 5 for The Liar, and that ain't no lie either. That's what we call a bad joke in Sweden. Overall, No Rest for the Wicked is a really easy, almost too easy to digest album for me. The initial reaction from Rolling Stone reviewer Jimmy Gutterman says that No Rest for the Wicked has, quote, "no brains either," unquote, and that it's no easy task getting past the wobbly vocals, and that the album is a collection of cliches overplayed for Whitesnake and Kingdom Clone. I'm inclined to agree with that, sort of, given that this is a review from Rolling Stone that, actually gave this record a chance and doesn't want to shit on Ozzy like they did with Sabbath's arrival. My main defense is that Ozzy was a part of paving the cement for these cliches to exist in the first place, vocalizing fears of demons and railing against war. Guitar World wrote of No Rest for the Wicked much more agreeably, in my opinion, that the album was neither trailblazing like Blizzard of Oz in Diary of a Madman, nor a high watermark like the quadruple platinum selling No More Tears. Like I said before, and as Guitar World also mentions, this record is notable for its introduction of Zakk Wylde to the world. Of course, not every single creation has to be life-changing or revolutionary, a sentiment I often have to keep reminding myself of, and it's okay to pad down familiar territory in order to know where you want to tread next. The almost tragic thing about this album is that it so easily could have been a concept album. Different facets and ideas of wickedness are explored in No Rest for the Wicked, and the end tracks offer a wish to change one's own wicked ways. It opens up with wickedness disguised as virtue and Miracle Man, and ends on a humble note, wanting to truly follow virtue. The intrusions of songs like Tattooed Dancer get in the way of what it truly could be in terms of a concept album. I'm going to be kinder than Rolling Stone on this album, and give it an overall 3 out of 5. So that is it for this track-by-track review of No Rest for the Wicked by Ozzy Osbourne. Happy 30th fucking anniversary. If you enjoyed this episode, please share it with a friend. Every time this show hits a new set of ears, it means the absolute world to me. Do you agree with any of my sentiments on No Rest for the Wicked? What's your favorite song off this album? Hit me up on social media, on Twitter, Tumblr, YouTube, Instagram, and Mixcloud. I am Lovely Metalhead. Follow me, subscribe, retweet, reblog, and share through all the appropriate content. And until next week, next Saturday, the next episode of Lovely Talks Heavy, you stay brutal, my friends. Bye.